everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cooking with CandiWare, and today we're going to be learning how to make this watercolor poppy. Hi everyone! Thanks for stopping in. I am Candice, or better known as CandiWare. If you are returning, thanks so much for coming back. And if you are new here, this is the place where we make adorable miniature food jewelry for the most part. I believe that everyone can be super creative and become the best miniature food artist or crafter they could be. So this is just a place to inspire and create and just enjoy the art that comes out. So today I am going to be making this watercolor painting. Now this is new to my channel. I love watercolor art and I like to do my own art in a sketchbook that I bring with me. Sometimes I go cafe sketching and things like that. So I figured why not show you guys another thing that I like to do aside from just polymer clay. This was a painting I made for my mom's birthday. I originally wanted to make a flower press, like prop that up in a frame, but sadly the poppy that I grew in my front yard and tried to preserve ended up going bad on me, but it didn't work for me. So the night before my mom's birthday I had to rush and come up with an idea. So this is what I came up with, and I thought it would be really fun to show all of you guys. Let me know what you think of this item, if you want me to make more watercolor paintings or just paintings in general or anything like that, because I am more crafty than just doing poly. Without further ado, let's get right on to the DIY. So first we're going to be taking some watercolor paper, and I took out the insert that's part of the frame that it's going to be living in, and now I just used it to mark where the painting will actually sit. And this was my ill attempt of trying to what's it called now? Oh goodness, words escape me. Where I wanted to flatten an actual poppy and add it in, but it ended up going bad on me. So then my next step was I was going to think about using just the stems, since they were okay to use, and then halfway through I decided not, because I was a little concerned that eventually that would go bad also. So for the time being I ended up using it. So then from there, once you have it very quickly roughed out, what I'm going to be doing is going over it with some watercolors. So that is my water brush pen, and what's really cool about it is it holds water in it. So as you can see there, I was just squishing it to get some of the liquid out, and then I just like to take some of the pigment off, and then you can just start going in and adding in some definition. So the way I work when I'm painting is I like to work in blocky shapes, so I'm going to rough in all the biggest portions first, and then I'll go in and add more detail later. So once I'm happy with that, I'm gonna just go in with some darker colors now. So this is a darker red, and I'm just going to go in with that. From there we're going to be starting with the green, and this is going to be for the bud that's not open yet. And I like to start, like always with watercolor, you always want to start lightest to dark. So I'm going in just with the lightest green I have first. And the leaf also has a lot of little, I don't know what you would call that, just little jaggedy bits on the side. You can see it in the right hand corner of the screen. So I just went in and added a couple more, and then what I was doing there is I made another one in the very back, and then taking the same green and going in with a little bit darker. And then we're going to go in with the darker blue, which is also a more of a blue green, and we're just going to add in a little bit more to that. Also going to be adding in the poppy black center. So I'm going to be using a jelly roll pen, and I found this out from another watercolor artist that this pen actually doesn't bleed. So even if you work on slightly wet, or you can even go on top of this. So yeah, what I like to do is wait until the first draft of my blocking is roughed in, and then I'll go in with my jelly roll pen here, and I like to try and not take my hand off the paper too often, especially if I'm going the same direction. And you just It takes patience and some time to get used to doing this, but as you can see, I'll just stop and then just keep going. So yeah, you want to just do this, and what's really neat about this pen, like I was saying, is you can go over it later on and it doesn't actually bleed, which is quite shocking to be able to find a pen like that. I found it very exciting that I was able to find something like that. So we're just going around the back, and like you can see, what I was doing there on one of the petals is, even though I drew it as one big blocked shape, now I'm going in and separating pieces of it. And same with this one. So it's adding a lot more definition to the painting. Now you definitely don't have to put an outline on your work, but this is something I really enjoy doing for when I do my paintings. So it's definitely the choice of the artist. So now we're going in on the little bud that hasn't opened yet, and I like to start in the middle, and not making a straight shape also gives it a little bit of texture. So just have fun with it. So this part was a little time consuming because I had to go over every little notch that I had added, but it still looks quite good once you're done. I was a little nervous when I was working on this. I was concerned that it was just going to take away from the piece and it wasn't going to look very good, but at the end of the day you just have to try something, and sometimes it works and then other times it doesn't. This is also a new segment that I've never done on my channel, since mostly I work with clay. If you are new to my channel, that is usually what I do, clay food jewelry, but I wanted to try something else out since I was already doing this painting, so I thought why not record myself while I'm doing this. So I'd love to know in the description box below what you think of maybe me mixing it up and adding in some paintings. If that's something you would like, I would love to know, or if you want me to keep to what I was doing. Now this here is a watercolor pencil, and I just love it because you can use it just like a normal pencil crayon, and I'll show you once it's done here, but just adding in some little bits of texture here and there that we wouldn't get some definition from before. And now we're going to go in with the green. As you can see, this is where I decided, you know what, I'm not going to do what I had decided with the stems because it's just not going to work out. But again, this is the great thing with watercolor pencils, is you can become very accurate with what you're trying to achieve. Instead of using a brush, you're using, you know, a very pointed tip. So then from there, I'm going to use my watercolor brush, and this is how you activate the watercolor pencil. So if you go over it, it ends up looking like watercolor. It's just such a neat thing to use. I really quite enjoyed it once I got these pencil crayons. I would love to know what your favorite flower is in the description box below. My favorite are orchids. I just love every variety of orchids. There's so many out there and they're just so interesting. I know they don't really have a fragrance, but still they're beautiful to look at. And as you can see, look at the definition now that we're getting into using the watercolor pencils, and now we're going back to using the watercolors. Just look at that poppy and the different shades we're getting in there. So then we're going to go in with the Jelly Roll black pen, and then I decided I would go in here and there and add a couple little lines to represent what the poppy stems look like, which are little hairy bits stick out is the best way for me to describe it. So then after that, once it's dry, you can go in with your eraser and then erase any of the pencil. I just went in really light with a green and signed it and dated it. So then from there you're going to cut it out, and then you can place in the backing of your picture frame, and then we're going to be cutting out the ends since I didn't do that yet. And then we're going to place that in, put the backing on, and then you could leave it like this if you wish, but I wanted to give my mom the option to either hang it. I was trying to find the center and also to line it up properly. So you're just going to use a ruler, and roughly from where you want to put it, you can add in a little dot, and then I just found with the ruler, like I was showing you right there, you just find the perfect spot, and Chris came in to help me because I don't really know what I'm doing. So we needed to find the length of it, and because we live in Canada, we're using centimeters, and then you can find the half of it, and then from there, once you have it placed, you can add on some glue. Don't worry, it's the back. I made a little mess, but it's not a big deal. And then you're going to let that dry, and once it's dry, you can hang it on the wall. Look at how nice that looks. Thanks so much for coming and crafting with me on this Friday crafty video. Like always, don't forget to give this video a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to click on the little bell to stay up to date with what's going on with CandiWare. Also new, I just opened up my own Patreon account, so I would love either feedback on it, or if you guys could support me, that would mean the world to me. I would love to keep doing these for you, and just the support from the community through my Patreon account would be marvelous. It would mean so much. So anyways, don't forget to check out, or don't forget, next week there will be another one on Friday. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!